What's up now, friends? Today I have my client Ashley back in. She had gone over 4 weeks here and lost 2 nails. She's a newer mom and she's busy, so she got behind on her appointment, which is totally fine. I let my clients go as long as they want, and because I just charge a one-time fee. I don't charge a different price for full sets versus fills, because you end up spending just as much time restructuring and rebuilding the nails with a fill that you do with a full set when you're doing colored acrylics. So I decided when I came back to doing nails to just charge one price. That way, if I want to remove the client's nails and redo them, or if I have a lot of work to fix, or I don't have to feel bad that I either have to charge more or whatever. I just make it one price. Just makes it easier for me, makes it easier for them. So my client came back and I am filing down her past set. She has some lifting. We want these shorter. This was her first nail set back after having her baby. So, sometimes you just got to get used to them. I'm sure her next set will come back a little bit better. I already have her booked in for that. So I will maybe film that for you guys. Show you guys how this set turned out. So anyways, the bit I'm using here I got from Erica's ATA. It is a carbide bit. And I am just using it to file down. So I like to go down the nail because this is a really sharp bit. So if you go sideways and you're not quite experienced, you can slip around the client and it isn't great. So I'm just going downward and I lift up my file, down and lift. And then I'm using this to shorten, but I'm holding the finger and everything very securely while I shorten the nail because it can skip a little and then feel weird and be like, bam. Yeah, so that's what they look like. I'm going to also be able to show you guys her thumb as well. Shortening that, filing down thin. So I file down thin and then I switch my file and I switch her hands. Just make sure I'm never burning my client, making sure it's not hot. So I ask my client, is this warm? And then, yeah, I just want to make sure that I never burn my client. So yeah, this is just a bit that's used to file down the nails. And that's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm pointing at there, but we're just chatting. When you're doing colored acrylic redesigns, you're not going to be able to remove all the color because it's acrylic and it's way harder than gel. It's just not possible. So we want to file this as thin as we can while keeping a base, and then we're going to apply on top. I'm using a metal file board with refills on it. One side has 180, the other side has 150. So I'm just using this to file her sidewalls and file the tip straight. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to keep this video in real time so you guys can watch and see what I'm doing instead of speeding it up. That's what I've been doing lately for YouTube since there's so much short form content, sped up videos. So I thought maybe you guys would prefer more real time stuff. So that's what I've been doing for you lately. If you want to check back on my other few videos I've been doing, they're all in real time. Just using my little dust brush here to remove dust while I work. I'm using my cuticle pusher to push the skin back to expose more of her cuticle that's on her nail plate. The cuticle is that white, clear skin that kind of grows down with the nail. Yeah, you want that gone or it's not going to stick. So that's what I'm doing here, just pushing back her skin. And then we will work on prep as well. Going in at the cuticle area with this prep bit, so you can see I'm just getting up the skin around the sidewalls and the cuticle area. And this bit is nice and gentle, so it doesn't hurt or anything. It's a diamond bit, so that's what I'm using to prep. I'm just going down the left side with this, and then you could use your finger to pull the skin out of the way so that you can get really close and get a nice close file in there. And again, I dust everything away to make sure I can see what I'm doing. Then I'm using this smaller bit here. So this is from Get Buff Nails. I really like this bit. I talk about it in every video. It's great for prep to get anything you might have missed with your previous cuticle bit. And it's really small and it doesn't have a pointy top. So it makes it nice and safe, especially for beginners. So I will link that down below. And then this next bit that I'm using is from Erica's ATA, and it's in the bit kit. And I just use it on the skin here around the cuticle area, and it'll help get rid of some of that skin and kind of push it out of the way and make it like smoother, kind of like and just smoother and easier to apply. So I just really like this bit. It feels really nice too. It's nice and soft and gentle. So I'm dipping a dust brush into some alcohol and really scrubbing to get rid of that any kind of dust that would be on the nail plate. You really don't want any dust left behind. Dust, cuticle skin, all of that debris causes lifting. So I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to glue a tip on to the nails that she had broke. So I just apply my glue and then I just hold it down for a while. I'm using the Glitterbels Stiletto tips, and then I'm just cutting them to the length. So you just gotta hold it for a while so that glue can set. That's what I'm doing. Like I said, this is gonna be in real time. I'm not gonna speed the video up, but I am gonna take out anything that's like really blurry or out of frame. So, and then snip. And then I'm gonna take my hand file and I'm just gonna blend that tip, because these tips are kind of thick right where you glue it. So just blending it a little bit thinner, just so make it easier for when I apply it on top. You can also use a sanding band to do that. So I do that on both her hands, and I came back and I'm just using my dust brush again to brush off any dust. And then I'm using a lint-free wipe with alcohol on it to also cleanse again, because I did file that nail and I don't want any dust that I could have flown off onto the other nails. So after that, I've prepped, and then we can go in and apply. So my client wanted a similar set to a set I did recently. I think I talked about that in my last vlog, and I just told you guys I would post the video. So this is the video. Basically, the set is done with all white as the base, and then we're going to go in with art ink. So I'm just using a shimmery kind of white from Glitterbels. This is soft. This is a white satin, I think. And I'm just applying this on the whole nail, but first I actually apply it just on the tip, and then I'm going to apply the cuticle area after. I just want to get this nice and even and smooth. I don't want to apply and then have it be runny or anything, so I just applied it on the tip, and then I moved on to her next nail to also apply it on the tip. So I'm placing that down, and then I'm kind of patting the product, moving it to the sides, and then I'm using my brush to pat and pull the product down the nail. And then I like to pat and get it nice and even so that the consistency is the same thickness, except I did pull a little bit of product off and you can see the purple, but you don't have to worry. Everything will be even and smooth, and it'll all look good in the end, because I am adding art inks and they're so pretty. I'm so excited. But first we got to get our base down. So that's what I'm doing here. Just applying that white. Gonna let that sit and move on to the next nail. Like I said, just applying the white just on the bottom half of the nail first, and then we will apply at the cuticle area. So you don't have to do one nail at a time. You can kind of go across the hand. So that's what I do. Just kind of do what I feel like doing at the time, what feels right. So apply this, spread it out, and then pat and pull, drag off any extra product I don't need. And then I always like to bend the finger down too to make sure that gravity helps, and so you don't get any product seeping into the sidewalls. I'm adding a little bit more, and then I'm turning my brush and feathering that up. Everything I do is a really light touch. You don't want to accidentally take off too much product, so everything is a light feathery touch, almost just like a blend, like a quick blend. So I'm going to pull her finger down and grab a bead for her cuticle area, placing that back so it's not touching her skin, not touching her cuticle area or anything. And then I'm going to use my brush to pat and push this towards her cuticle area and get it where I want it. And then cleaning off my brush to make sure nothing sticks to it. and using my brush to push this where I want it. And the reason you wanted to blend your tips is because you can see I kind of overlapped it there and it didn't look 100% perfect on that side. You can see it like kind of sticking out there. Not much I can do there. I could file that at the end. Yeah, so then I'm just going to blend that down. And now that that bottom half of the nail is pretty dry, you're not going to pull product off. I'm just blending and patting that down. Gonna leave that, working on the middle or ring finger here, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this. Apply the product not at the cuticle area, but a little bit of space, and then use your brush to push towards the cuticle area. Clean off your brush to make sure that there's no product sticking to it. Clean off your brush so that your brush isn't soaking wet. Make sure you wipe it on your paper towel. And then again, I'm just gently feathering this down the nail, blending that into the bottom half. And this doesn't have to be perfect because we are covering this whole thing. This is just our base. You can see a little bit of that purple still, so I'm just applying more right there. And then I'm gonna blend that down just to cover up a little bit more of that purple. I'm gonna repeat this process on all her nails before we go in with our art inks, so you guys can watch, and then I'll come back and we'll chat about art inks. Okay, so here's how they look after I've applied the white. And then we're going to go in with some art inks. So I love the art inks from Koko and Claire. They're super, super nice. This one is a light blue shimmery one. It's actually kind of hard to see this one. So I think I switched to a different blue. Or I keep this one and add a different blue. I don't remember. But Koko and Claire has some solid colors like this gorgeous purple. And they have a metallic colors as well. So they're really fun to like mix together. So basically there's really no like way you have to do this. You kind of just place it on the nail where you want it, and I kind of just leave it for a bit, and then you're gonna go in and blend it with alcohol. So I'm just applying some blues, and I had already done this on a client recently, so I kind of knew what I wanted to do Whereas my first client, I got to experiment a bit with the colors, and then this time I kind of knew exactly how I wanted them to look. So it was kind of fun to do it twice. It's fun to place them down and then have them blend with each other, because then you can also make other colors with them. It's just a fun way to do it. And I mentioned in my vlog how it's kind of like the Sharpie trend. Do you guys remember when people would use Sharpies and then blend them? It's kind of like that, but I like to do it encapsulated, and that way nothing can chip or anything or fade. These don't fade, which is great. And then I'm just using a small brush here. This is just any kind of brush. It's like a little paintbrush for watercolor. And then I dip it in some alcohol, and then I blend, and then I pat some of the product, or like some of the alcohol, out onto my paper towel, just so it's not like super wet and getting everywhere. You don't want to get this all over the skin or anything. You just want to pat this into place. You can see I'm kind of blending and patting gently. I needed more alcohol, so here I'm adding some more alcohol. I just want to blend that line. You don't want any like harsh lines with this. And then if you add just dots and stuff of alcohol, you can create looks and stuff. So it's really, really fun and satisfying. So I kind of wanted to go with like purple and blue, and then have it go from purple and blue into blue and yellow and green. And then, you know what I mean? Like just kind of flow nicely along the hand. So that's what I kind of was going for here. So it gets brighter as it goes along. And you can add more wherever you think you missed it. It's just a great design. You could do a lot with it, with this idea. So last time I did it more of a galaxy look, and then this time I did more of a crystal look, because this client likes a lot of crystals. So far this is where I'm at. I'm adding some more of that purple, because I love the purple. The purple is so pretty. It's so pretty. So I'm adding just a couple dots and then blending it out. Like I said, there really isn't anything you have to do. You can go and do anything you want with this. And even if you don't like it, you can completely remove it with alcohol and try again. So it's really fun. And then I'm going to add some more blue on this one because it was really light there. So I'm going in with that darker blue. Placing that down. Leaving that for a sec. And then I will blend a little. So that's how they look so far. The pinky is lacking color, so I'm going to add some more blue onto that one as well. This one's more of a metallic blue, so it's super light, but it's pretty because it has that metallic look to it. Adding more yellow onto the pointer finger. So it's kind of fun. You can layer them and play with them, and yeah, it's great. So I think I'm doing her thumb separately here, and that is probably because I don't want the product to move around. Going in with a bright green. That green is so bright. And I like the green and the yellow together. That's why I kind of added them together and didn't add them on the blue nails. And then I accidentally added so much and it spread. But you know what? It's okay. That's what's fun about these. And that nail ends up being really bright. So I left it and didn't wipe it off. I thought it looked cool. So I'm just going to blend some of that color out just so it's not too dark. And it gives it more of a dimensional look if you blend and you take some color away in certain spots. It's really fun. Sorry it went a little blur here, but I still wanted to show you guys the thumb since people like the thumb and people request to see what's on the thumb. And sometimes you forget to film the thumb, but I didn't forget this time. I continued filming. So yeah, that's where we're at. And then I do add some flakies on this as well. These flakes are from Talia's shop, Flora. She actually closed her shop, but her products are still available. So I will link that down below. I really like these flakes. They're a little bit, I have a lot of flakes. I really do. But I always kind of go for these ones. The color is right. It kind of like looks right on everything, you know? So anyways, I pick up a small bit of clear acrylic and then I just dip into the flakes, and then I'm gonna place them on the nail where I want them. So kind of sparse and random. It just adds some glitter into the nail. Super pretty. So that's what I'm doing on all of these. You can see here, it was kind of blurry on the pinky, but you can see here where what I'm doing. It's not really going to take away too much or any color with the monomer, because I'm not really like soaking my brush. My brush is pretty dry with my clear acrylic on it and my flakes. So I'm not trying to like take away any color or anything, just placing the flakies on top so that they can be encapsulated as well. And you guys can see here how cool that thumb looks, and that purple kind of went pink with that. It's just so pretty. I don't know. These art inks are super fun and super colorful. So just patting that into place, and then this is how they look. The flakes really add extra special to this. So on my other client, I did go in with soft white and clear, but on this client, I skipped the soft white and just went in with my glass slippers. I didn't want to make these foggier. I did want to change them up slightly because I had just done this exact design, so I didn't want to do it completely exactly. She just liked the art ink idea, so that's what I went for. So I'm placing my clear bead down. I have her finger actually pointed really like down. I don't want this to be flat, or else the product can seep into her sidewalls, and we definitely don't want that. We want to touch the skin like never. Basically, you really don't want to get product on the skin. Try to avoid the skin at all costs. So I'll place that down, and then I'm just slowly patting and pulling and moving that product down the nail. I waited a little too long, so I have to kind of wet my brush and move that acrylic into place. So that's what I'm doing. And you don't want to take too much product off at the tip. That's what I find a lot of people will accidentally remove too much clear on the tip of the nail, and then they won't get that crisp, even tip. So make sure your tip has enough product on it as well. So the pinky is smaller, so I did just do a one bead method, but the rest of the nails are a little bit longer, so I am placing this at the tip and then gently pulling that over. So I'm just encapsulating. You don't need this to be super thick or anything. I do go back to this nail, and then while it's drying, and play around, so you don't have to just like stop and move on. You can go back and forth between the fingers. And now I'm going in at the cuticle with this, again placing it further back from the cuticle, and then using my brush to push the product towards the cuticle area, and then I'm just blending this down into the bottom half of the nail. And I lift up her finger. I like lift up her finger to keep the product from fully being removed, because I don't want to remove all the product. I just want to remove the excess product. So coming back and adding a little bit more clear to this. There wasn't enough at the tip to have it be a nice even nail, so I'm adding a little bit more, and again patting and pulling the product where I want it, and this way I will keep my nice shape that I want. End up adding even more. I guess I didn't add enough product the first time, so that's actually why I like to do the bottom half of the nail first. And then I'm probably going to build an apex here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm adding more product. So yes, I'm not a huge fan of trying to achieve a one ball method. I am a fan of just trying to get the nails to be the proper structure. So if that takes you one bead, that's great. If it takes you 3 beads, that's also fine. Just make sure that you get the proper structure, which is encapsulating the nail and creating an apex for strength, and making sure that you have enough product on the tip so it doesn't snap, break, and is even. And yeah, so again, I'm applying this on the half of the nail and then pulling it down. This is in real time. And then I always push my brush up like that, just to make sure that, like I said, the tip isn't empty with no product on it. And then placing that at the cuticle area. And I'm going to do the same thing on all of these nails. So I will come back in a minute when we get to finish filing. Okay, so here is both hands done. Which is your favorite so far? My client said it was her pointer finger on the other hand, when there's going to be crystals on that. But my favorite was, I think, her middle finger on her other hand. I don't know. They're all so unique and cool. So that's what I like about them. I'm going to go in with the same file I used to debulk her nails at the beginning, but I'm just using a lot less pressure, and I'm just lightly filing the nails, just very lightly. Hardly any pressure, hardly taking anything off. You can see not much dust is even coming off. I'm just doing that to debulk so that I have very minimal hand filing to do. I do majority of my filing by hand. I just like to debulk just slightly with a e-file before I go in with my hand file. So I go around the sides and the tip. I like to keep my apex in place, and I'm going under the nail to keep my C-curve. You can see I'm kind of going around. I don't want to accidentally like file off or file into the nail and take off any of the color or anything, so I'm just being really gentle and just trying to make the nails smooth and even. And I use this to file underneath and up and under and then around. I have her flip her hand to file away her real nail. She doesn't have a massive growth under there, but I do like to file it away anyway. So I'm just using a pointy bit here from Erica's, and I'm just getting rid of that regrowth, because the regrowth that comes underneath the nail can kind of like hinder the retention. So my clients try to go 4 weeks, so you don't want that to lift and cause any kind of problems under there. Some people will pick at it and make their nails fall off because of that. So we want to remove that, unless your client wants to grow her natural nails, but none of my clients are doing that unless they are doing like a nude color. Like my clients who are wearing colored acrylics aren't trying to grow their real nails out. They care more about structure and their nails being like straight and perfect instead of trying to grow their nails out. If I was trying to grow my clients' nails out, we would be using a builder gel to do that. So now I'm just filing the sides, holding her finger in place and going up and down at the tip to make it nice and squared out coffin. I'm going around the cuticle area, pulling her skin back to try to get that spot that I didn't like there. And I'm going to go over the whole nail as well to smooth and even it. I want to keep my apex, so I just go around the cuticle and sidewalls the most. Up and down, trying to make sure that it is nice and even and straight. And I just kind of do the same move that I did on the pinky on all the nails. So side walls to start, and then I go up and down at the tip, and then I go over the whole nail and focus on the cuticle area and the sides, leaving my apex mostly in place. So I'm going to do that on all the nails, and then we're actually going to switch my file. The file that I switched to now is a 240 grit file. So I am using this to smooth out the nails a little bit more. Because a 150 grit file, that I did have a 150 grit file on one side and 180 on the other, that will leave a little bit of scratches, and we don't want too many scratches left on the nail because you can see them with your gel top coat if it's too harsh. So I do like to take this smooth, even out all over, double check everything with this. I pull the skin back and get into the cuticle area with this. And yeah, that's what I do. And this is not a metal file board. It's just a regular file, and that makes it a little bit more flexible, whereas the other one is not that flexible because it's a metal file board, and so you get those nice straight lines, whereas this more flexible file, I can go around the cuticle area with it, and it bends a little bit easier. Then I take a buffing block and I just buff lightly, and I go around the cuticle area with this and everything. So you don't want to buff too much because you don't want to make the nails too smooth either, because gel doesn't really stick to it if it's too smooth. So you just want to buff it just slightly and around the cuticle area and stuff like that. So that's what my finish filing routine is right now. And then I'll show you guys how they look. I do like to check the lengths to make sure that they match, and then I go and file whatever needs filing. So I'm just looking here if they're the same length and if like anything needs tweaking. And then I grab out my file and file whatever needs tweaking so it can match the other side. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I dip my brush in alcohol, and then I'm scrubbing the nails with that, and that will help get that dust off the nail as well as underneath and around the sidewalls. And that's what the thumb looks like on the other hand. Sometimes I miss showing you guys certain things, and I try to remember every time, show you guys what's on the thumb and stuff like that, but then I forgot. But not this time, I showed you. So now that they're dry and cleansed and done, we can go in with our crystals. So I'm applying my glue down on the nail, and then I'm just using a tool here that has like wax on the end to pick up my crystals. And then the other end has a dotting tool that you can kind of push the crystals with. This tool is actually from Be Me Beauty Box. So I'm using a bigger crystal in the center and then placing it. And if it moves, I just use my finger to move it where I want. Some of these bigger crystals will kind of move around a bit and be annoying until you get them where you want them. Trying to make it straight and even. My clients will usually just let me do whatever kind of crystal design that I feel like doing, unless they have something specific in mind, but usually I just kind of wing it, or I will draw something out beforehand. Yeah, so that's what I did. I kind of did like a center crystal design. I really like doing that. This is pretty, and I like that square diamond or rectangle diamond. And then on this nail, I do kind of like a design at the cuticle area with crystal AB as well as clear, because the set is so colorful that I thought I could add in some crystal AB as well. So after crystals, I'm applying top coat, but I accidentally didn't hit record, but then I realized and recorded now. So I'm using my Glitterbels HOLO top coat. So it has hollow sparkle in it. It's probably my favorite top coat. So pretty. This set is super extra. Not only does it have the colorful art inks, but it also has flakes, crystals, and a hollow top coat. So super, super sparkly and pretty. So I am applying this on the nail. Don't get it on top of your crystals because it will dull the shine because it covers up those little facets, and those facets are what make it shiny. I'm just applying this all over the nail. And if you get too much product on or it's too bulky, you can use your finger and your glove with your glove to wipe it on the sides. So that's what I usually do. And then I'm just going in with her thumb. Sometimes I will actually do the other fingers and then go back to the thumb, because you can see here her hand is turned, and that's not always ideal. Some of the product could pool or move. So yeah, but that didn't this time, lucky. But just if you guys ever do wonder why your product is pooling on one side, it's do 4 fingers flat first and then go back with the thumb after. That's what they look like so far. We're going to go in with some cuticle oil on both hands. Super pretty. Let me know down below which nail is your favorite. See, the middle finger is so colorful in this one. Her favorite was this one. So, and her thumb looks great on this hand. And here is how they turned out. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. They're super fun and colorful, perfect for spring. And yeah, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!